She was told that the white areas of the screen were the parts of her daughter's brain that were dead. The white areas of the screen looked to be about 70%. She was told that her daughter would never walk again, or even be able to use her legs or arms. She was told that her daughter would never be able to breathe on her own again, and she was told that her daughter would never be aware of her surroundings again. At that point, she was asked to make a choice: to leave 17-year-old Emily on life support, or to take her off. She was also asked whether or not she would want a cremation or a burial for her daughter. Emily's mother was faced with these decisions after Emily made the choice to use synthetic marijuana for about a month straight. Because of her choice, Emily suffered seizures, a heart attack, pneumonia, and even had to have a hole drilled into her brain to leak out fluids that had built up there. Emily is still not recovered, but she is pulling through. However, doctors have said that she will be an invalid for most of the rest of her life. At 17 years old, you can imagine what her mother is feeling. This is not an isolated case. In Waco, Texas, according to Fox News, a man was reported for eating his dog alive. This was after he used synthetic marijuana, possibly for the first time. As we know, cases of synthetic marijuana are not just in Texas and are not isolated throughout the United States. Although some of these things may not be reported, they are very common. This is why legislators and politicians need to be pushing for more extensive and expansive bans on synthetic marijuana. The Texas legislature currently has Senate Bill 331, which bans about 4 compounds of synthetic marijuana, including JWH-018, which is the leading component. However, they've only banned about 4 out of the 400 that are available. This means that manufacturers are staying ahead of the curve. Manufacturers know how to keep their product on the market, and they are constantly changing their ingredients so they can keep producing a profit. They make exorbitant amounts of money off of this substance, and because of that, they are less willing to pull it. But there is no price on life. That is why these things need to have greater regulations and bans. The problem is that people are hurting themselves, and while they're hurting themselves, they're hurting their loved ones. No mother should be faced with the choice that Emily's mother was left with. These things are also unpredictable. While one user may use it one time and have no side effects, another may use it, and according to the American Association of Poison Control Centers, that user might have nausea, vomiting, seizures, high blood pressure, fast heartbeats, and even psychotic episodes that have sometimes led to suicide. These things are sold legally, so any 18-year-old can go pick one up at a local smoke shop, convenience store, or even buy it online. People think because these things are legal, that obviously they must be safe. However, the creator, a professor at Clemson University in 1995, reportedly said, "These things are dangerous. Anybody who uses them is playing Russian roulette." Therefore, we know for a fact that the creator believes that these things are wrong, and that they should be banned because they are so dangerous. Something obviously needs to be done. However, we're left with that question, what can we do? The National Institute of Health has reported that this substance is the second most common substance used among high school seniors because it's so easy to come by and it is unregulated, meaning that the high school seniors who are using the substance as compared to the leading drug, which is organic marijuana, are facing consequences of using this leafy green substance that is sprayed with unknown chemicals and unknown amounts of those chemicals. Although it may be difficult to ban, as are all drugs, something has to be done out of moral obligation. Legislators and politicians should know that they owe this to their constituencies and their families to get these things off the market so that kids who these things are marketed to, because the packages have such things as SpongeBob and Scooby-Doo, will not have easy access to them anymore. Although it may be difficult to enforce, as with all drugs once again, they owe it to us to do something and do it immediately. These bans of 4 compounds or less aren't effective. The Office of National Drug Control Policy reported that these are just as harmful as LSD or methamphetamines, and just as addictive, because this is a hallucinogenic drug. We can stop the sales, and by politicians and legislators pushing for these bans, these things won't be available anymore. We can push for the expansion of Senate Bill 331, which does ban a few compounds, but not nearly as many as it should. 38 states have already taken action according to the Drug Administration, and these 38 states have done just about as much as Texas. Texas needs to be the leader of bans against synthetic drugs, not just synthetic marijuana. We need to set an example for all states in the United States that we will not put up with our youth gaining access to these harmful substances, and gaining that access legally. Less access means fewer deaths. In conclusion, we need to regulate and ban these substances. We need to have greater packaging on them that explains the harms. Well, although they already say not for human consumption, that's exactly opposite of what they mean. We need to have packages that include ingredients so that people know exactly what they're smoking. We need to have deterrence. We need to have educational programs that teach students, young people, and even adults alike that these things are wrong to use, they are harmful, and although you may not get hurt the first or second time, it will eventually happen. And legislators and politicians need to ban these out of moral obligation. We cannot sit by and watch young people continue to use these things and suffer these consequences such as Emily did. If not doing it for anyone else, do it for the people you know, for your loved ones, and because you know it is right.